Been a while since I've done a video, but I think you can see by what's in front of you, I have been busy. This is a Nucast in the Northeastern Railway H class, known as the Y7 in its LNER days. It's a Nucast model number NC117, and I got the kit second hand in terms of somebody else had owned it, but it was unbuilt. So everything was built from scratch in terms of kit. Obviously put it all together, it was all in bits. The wheels came with the model, which is quite handy. There was no motor and gearbox, so I've had to source a motor and gearbox for it. And happily, well, I'm saying happily, I'm not so sure, high level gearbox and motor can fit in the chassis of this particular model, which is one of Nucast's probably older models in that it's got the white metal block of a chassis. And it's not the greatest chassis in the world, let's be honest. However, I've got the high-level gearbox in there and it works. But I'm really tempted to scratch build a brass framed chassis, which will just be a bit neater, a bit squarer, just a bit better all round, really. Having said that, as per most or the Nucast models I've tackled, it went together really well and makes for a lovely model. As you can see, I've painted it in Northeastern Railway black with red lining, and I'm really pleased with the way it's turned out. Which, you know, when you do your own model and build your own model and paint your own model, it really is very fulfilling, and it's turned out really well. So on we go. We're going to compare it with a Rapido, because I also have a Rapido H class, and the Rapido is a lovely model, but it was the quality of the Rapido that made me want to do the Nucast one. And I do think Rapido have, slipped up. When you look at what Nucast were doing 50 years ago with this thing, Rapido should have been able to do something metal bodied, as opposed to it's all fantastic plastic. Anywho, let's compare it and let's have a little running session, and hope you enjoy the rest of the video. So here we have a comparison of my two Northeastern Railway H-class locomotives. I'm guessing the green one's probably familiar to everybody. It is the Rapido model that was released last year, announced a couple of years ago, but came to the shops last year, I think. No, 2026, 2025. Anyway, I've had it about a year, 18 months maybe. The Rapido model is lovely. It runs really well. You can't fault it from a design point of view, from a running point of view. But the other one, the Nucast Northeastern Railway H class, has got it licked into oblivion when it comes to weight and quality. What I mean by that is, the Nucast is all white metal. The fittings are all metal. Metal handrails, metal body, everything's metal, including the whistle. The Rapido, everything's plastic. And it's 120 odd quid, 125 quid, 130 quid. I think the retail price is 140. And for an all plastic 040, that's just pushing it a bit. I used to be a Rapido fan. I still am to a certain extent, but it was a bit disappointing to find that this was an all plastic model. Even the whistle was plastic. Well, that disappeared in the first 24 hours. Caught on my sleeve, paying off it went. No idea where. So my Rapido H class has now got a brass whistle courtesy of Wizard Bottles. The Nucast one had metal whistles, but I preferred the brass one that I got from Wisdom Bottles, so it's got a very similar type of whistle on it. They're both lovely models, but I have to say the Nucast model, when you consider what, mid-70s tooling, hey, as you can see, it looks really, really good. You can't fault it for prototypical accuracy. The only thing you'd find with these two is if you butt them up really close. If I just show you what I mean. Stop them a second. If I just make that so that they're really, really against each other. Now, I'm sure Rapido's is very, very accurate prototypically, but the Nucast one is absolutely bob on. The only differential I can see that's a little bit off with the Nucast one is its height. It sits maybe 1 or 2 millimeters higher than the Rapido one. Now, I could probably sort that out by maybe doing something with the chassis on the Nucast one. Interestingly enough, the chassis on the Nucast one, just tip it over, give you a look. We still have the original white metal chassis. The wheels came with a kit, and I'm not sure whether the chassis is the best. The wheels don't tend to run quite true. I think I might try and scratch build a brass chassis and just lower the whole locomotive down by that 1 or 2 mil, so then it's absolutely level with your Rapido model. But when you look at the major dimensions, there is very, very little in it. So you'd have to give Nucast, you know, a bit of credit. They did a good job. Lovely locomotive. And the fact that it's all metal just makes it feel so much better than the Rapido one in the hand, both with weight, and obviously you can't beat that metal feeling from a model. So hey ho, we'll get them down the track, we'll give them a run, see what you think. I've also yet to decide what to do about couplings on the Nucast one, by the way. At the moment you can see it's got coupling hooks, and I've got a 3-link chain on the back of it. I might stick with 3-link. I might try and get I don't know, maybe it's an M pocket on there, but I don't know. I haven't quite decided yet. But for now, we'll run with 3-link. It'll be fine. I could always put on a chain with a magnet as well, because the Acura scale child run wagons are obviously magnetic, so that could be a more logical way to go. Okay, so here we are down on the track, looking good, I think. When you look at the tooling, which is mid-70s, late 70s, this is nearly, therefore, 50-year-old. And it's all die-cast. Well, white metal, but it's all metal. Very heavy, very good puller, and with a modern gearbox and motor in it, which I managed to get in a high-level gearbox and motor, it does appear to run rather well. Look at that. Isn't that lovely? And there's my little rake of Northeastern 4-wheel carriages. Off we go. Just for giggles, I've got the Rapido one as well.